are some struggles to deal with upon you first arriving to Germany, and depending on how excited you are when you first get here will determine how much you overlook or are able to look past that at first. Now, obviously, everybody's situations will be different because not everybody comes over here in the same status or position in life as everyone else. But I feel like almost everybody deals with some of the things that I dealt with when I first got here. So in the beginning, I had no vehicle. So anytime that I was able to catch a ride from somebody, I had to take care of most of my business when I had that ride. That included taking care of legalizing myself, searching for a job, and getting groceries and other things I need for the house. It didn't always work out that way. So sometimes I had to deal with just being able to feed myself for the time being until I can get a ride to be able to do other things. And that's what I did sometimes. I'm about to show you guys a video I did back when I first moved here, and I had to find a meal out of basically nothing. I made it happen. I cooked it myself, and it was actually the first cooked meal that I had here in Germany that was done by myself. Now, it's obviously nothing extravagant. It's nothing like amazing. I'm not trying to say I got my chef on. It's something very simple that I just decided to do due to having limited resources, namely a car, which basically left me with the option of ordering in or making up something myself from something I had in the house due to not having a car. And that's what I did. Also, let me be sure to point out that I was alone at this time, so I was only doing this for myself, and the people that were joining me weren't due to be there for another month or 2 months or something like that, whatever it was. So keep in mind that much like I'm back to doing now, I was just taking care of myself at the time. So here I am, whooping up my first meal in this place. It's gonna be some chicken fried in rapeseed oil. Yeah, I know, jokes. It's my egg wash with pepper in it. This is my fresh chicken. Hopefully you can see it, it's kind of dark. So, unfortunately, this house didn't have the best lighting because most of the windows were pretty small, and I had to make do with what I had, and especially here in this kitchen, the lighting was terrible. So I did with what I had, but you know, we're gonna keep going. And it's my seasoned batter. All right, so to start, first we'll go ahead and soak all of these so I don't have to keep taking my hands out of it. All of these fit perfectly. All right. Like I said, obviously this is just a simple little meal. I did roast up some vegetables. I think it may have been Brussels sprouts. I can't remember exactly. But it's basically just some boneless chicken breasts fried up in the rapeseed oil. I don't know how you pronounce it. Rapeseed, whatever it is, rapeseed oil. And they turned out pretty good, but let's just see how I go through with this. We're just about ready. I don't know if you can hear that oil popping, but it's ready to get something in it. I usually double batter, but I think I'm only gonna single batter this time. Now, I usually do like to double batter because I'm a huge fan of the crispy batter on the outside of my fried meats. And yeah, double battering is something I usually do. I did it also with the fish that I fried in the video, if you've seen that video, but I did another cooking video of me frying some fish, and I did the same thing with that beer battered fish. See how they turned out. Actually, I think I have enough, so I will double batter. Usually make for a nice fine crust when you do that, so. Getting that seasoning and that seasoned batter right off up in there. And this is obviously before the jokes and before the actual vlogging and before I got the YouTube channel really up and going. So there's not much of anything else besides me just cooking it and wanting to get it documented. It's like the best slab. Look at that. On a side note, do you see those flat burners? I really don't like those flat burners. And it's the first time I had ever seen anything like that anywhere in any place that I've lived. So what it is, it's just a flat piece of metal, a flat round piece of metal placed on there, and I think the heat is, I think it's gas powered. Y'all don't quote me on that. I think it's gas powered and the fire is underneath it. I don't think it's electric, but I think the fire is underneath it and it just heats the plate itself. And it's just the weirdest way to cook. It gets super crazy hot, but I didn't like them. They're so hard to adjust and find the proper temperature for that it scared me away from having those ever again. But so any place that had these, I probably wouldn't have moved into it. After moving into the place that I moved into after this house, that place made me never again move into a place that used oil for heating. I'll take gas. But yeah, these plate burners were something terrible, just a huge mess.
Go ahead and slather that one around since it's the last one. My seasoned flour, I just put again my options are limited, so I put some accent seasoning.
So that accent seasoning, yeah, like I mentioned in the video, I was limited on resources, so I used it, but never ever use that crap. That stuff is complete garbage.
So a little bit of pepper. What else? Some garlic seasoning. There's no fresh garlic here. I like fresh garlic, but I put some garlic seasoning and a dash of oregano just to add a little bit of zest. That's what's in the flour batter. But those are sitting in the oil.
So you can see the plates here, how they're just big metal plates. I think fire comes from underneath. Somebody can tell me in the comments how these work, but my guess was that the fire is somewhere beneath the plate and it just heated the plate itself. So like I said, they got really hot, but it's a situation almost similar to using cast iron skillets, to where you really have to understand a cast iron skillet to understand how to distribute the heat and use the heat properly. But I couldn't get it with these heated plate stove situation. I couldn't get it. So for the life of me, I either overcook stuff, cook stuff too fast, or cook stuff too slowly and undercooked it, but I could never find the perfect temperatures for the things that I was cooking.
We'll let those go in the rapeseed oil, and we'll check on those in a minute and see how they turn out. Actually, I might just let you guys see the end result, because the cooking process is nothing exciting. So I'll revisit once they're done and all golden and fried up. The thing about these little potatoes, especially these little white ones, is they're pretty soft anyway, so it doesn't take long to boil them. So I just boil these off, let them cool off, and put them in the refrigerator and have them with whatever meal I want later. So this turned out to be some good stuff. It's really close to the stuff we're used to. This is what the finished product looks like. It's good. It tastes really, really good. Try it. And here's the finished product.
And that's it right there. So they turned out pretty good to me.
Looks like that rapeseed oil creates a nice golden tone. There's a nice thick coat.
That was my first time cooking with that kind of oil. As I keep mentioning, I was very limited on resources. Like the friend that was letting me use the place had a few things that I was able to use. It was his place and everything there belonged to him. So I didn't want to, completely deplete everything, knowing that I didn't really have a car to replace anything. And I didn't really understand public transportation yet. So although I figured it out soon because I needed it even during this time, because I eventually found a job and I needed to get out and buy my own stuff and be self-sustainable, I didn't want to just completely go crazy in the place that I was just a visitor in. But they turned out pretty good, don't you think? So as I said, I did end up doing some roasted vegetables. I think it was something green, Brussels sprouts or something like that. But that ended up being my meal that I had to make happen when I first got to Germany, because of limited resources. So if you're in Germany and you find yourself in a situation similar to this, just find the best in what you can do. Do what you can do. Find something that keeps you busy, makes you happy, and just know that things get better. Once you start understanding things and figuring stuff out, things get better. So that was my first ever meal in Germany, but it's not the only meal I ever made in Germany. If you care, I made a video here featuring beer battered fish and chips UK style. Check that one out next, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video.